Waiting always is the hardest part. And there we go. All right. Let's do it. Well, it would appear that we are down someone who specializes in intelligent design. Chris, as the guy that was supposed to assist Mr. ID through this discussion tonight, what do you have to say for Ian?
That this was unfortunately predictable, given the last debate that he skived off like a little dweeb.
You had one job, Chris.
One.
Hey, I tried. I sent him at least 6 different messages, and he didn't respond to any.
Well, I did too, and he actually responded to mine, and everything was hunky dory. So this is why I'm just a little disconcerted that he's not here at the moment, because everything was fine as of the day before yesterday.
I knew this was going to be an off day today because anytime you get a Hangouts message from Steve that opens up like this, and I quote, "So I've got a guy that's going to email you that drinks his own aged urine," and when you don't even blink at that, you know that you've been doing this far too long. But that's
didn't even phase Kyle at least.
That's how Steve said good morning.
Morning, Kyle. Got to get to drink aged urine.
Which, by the way, I was thinking, Steve. You know how we were talking about the Pokemon Go for Christians, the Christian version? You remember this story? I was thinking that there's never going to be a better player than the one that used to be, like back in the day. There's already a player that will never be defeated. He just won't be. You know that slogan, player? You got to catch them all? Noah's like, I already did twice.
See, I don't play Pokemon Go.
Oh, that was a good joke. All right, let me go through a couple of what we've got coming up real quick, and then we will talk about what we're going to do tonight. On Sunday the 4th, we're going to have Geoscriber and Shinobi 33333. It's a Flat Earth Sunday stream. That's going to be at 4 p.m. Eastern. On Monday, Sargon of Akkad will be debating Adam Kokesh on capitalism and the we'll see if the libertarians have. Last time, not so much, but we'll see if things have changed since the 2 months that's passed since he last came here. Next Thursday on the 8th, everybody's request is coming true. Isaac Arthur will be with us, and we're going to be talking about the ability to upload your mind to a server, and essentially you never die. It's a strange, fascinating concept. So join us for that. Steve, let me ask you this: if I told you, or if I said the words Robert Tilton, what comes to mind?
Evangelical pastor that was head of the Trinity Broadcasting Network that was indicted for fraud way back in the early 90s, was it?
Yeah, well, that is true. But there was a gentleman that orchestrated his takedown. Do you remember who that was?
What is I don't remember his name.
Ole Anthony.
And he was the one that actually investigated the fraud that Tilton. I thought Tilton was dead. Are you sure he's not dead?
I'm positive he's not dead. He was on YouTube
I just
last
watched
week.
The video with him not too long ago. Are you sure that was him? That wasn't Soul Phone or something?
I'm positive.
Okay.
He's not dead. But anyway, Ole Anthony is the guy that his organization took him down. He's responsible for taking, going after people like Benny Hinn and all the people at the Trinity Broadcasting Network. Well, I spoke with Ole yesterday, and he's going to come on and walk the investigation with Robert Tilton and what goes into investigating a multi-million-dollar program. So that's going to be really cool. And yeah, I believe that's all we're going to jump to. So uh, obviously, Mr. Intelligent isn't here, and you'll forgive me if I'm looking away, guys. I'm also producing tonight, so I'm trying to follow along with that. But we waited on Mr. Intelligent Design until 8 o'clock. He no-showed. We reached out to him. Chris showed up. Chris was going to assist him in trying to translate the point he was trying to get across. But obviously, Mr. Intelligent Design is not here. So we put out the word for people who might want to come and talk about the shape of our planet. And RiceRay answered that call. And oh, cool. And and Stiggy is somewhere in the call, but we can't hear him. I'm hoping to be able to fix that. And if this works, I have something I would like to play for you guys. I'm just trying to figure out how to do it. So, Reds, do you want to go ahead and introduce yourself and your channel, and then we'll go to RiceRay, and then Chris, and you guys can tell people who you are and introduce yourselves, and then we'll get started.
Sure. So I just say who I am again, as if the people don't know that already?
Right, just pretend.
Okay, fine, whatever. So hi, my name is Red. I'm from the YouTube channel Rhetoric. I'm also known as that ugly fuck from Florida. Yeah, I am a rocket launch filmer, I guess, and I'm known for making very shocking statements, like calling the flat earth theory a crock of shit, and that those who believe in it are intellectually dishonest or not very bright. You can subscribe to my channel if you like things like rocket launches and drone videos and observations that show the flat earth to be complete bullshit. Link description, I guess. Wink, wink, hint, hint, click, click.
Cool. All right. RiceRay.
Yes. So my name is, I had a YouTube channel. It was shut down. It was called Evolution is a Lie. I'm a younger creationist, flat earther, Bible believer. I believe the Bible, every mythology, every teach the flat earth with a solid dome-like sky on top of it. So that's it.
Okay. And Chris.
Hi, I'm Chris. I'm one of the hosts of the Biblical History Skeptics YouTube channel, and I am a 21-year-old student and a big Bible nerd.
You are a big Bible nerd. Look at all those Bibles. It's funny because that's the face that every one of us are going to have before the end of the night. I guarantee it. But the first night that I met you, I actually thought you were a Christian. That's how big of a Bible nerd you were. I remember starting to argue with you, and Steve's like, no, he's atheist.
Yeah, well, agnostic by the philosophical definition.
Oh no, not another one.
He's one of my people. He's one of
Muted.
my boys.
Okay, so let's see if I can get this. We had one of our favorite people, Jamie, put together. He was inspired last week by the last appearance Reds had when he came on the show. And hopefully this will work. Keep your fingers crossed. Like I said, I'm still trying to figure out how all of this stuff works. So let's see what happens when I do this.
Remember when we froze your semen? You said if it didn't look like you were coming back, we should try to make you a son so that a part of you could live forever?
Oh, sure.
Well, after a couple of years, we got a little impatient. Dr. Evil, I want you to meet your son.
My son?
Yeah. Scott!
Hello, Scott.
Yeah, hi. Have you seen a video by Martin D. Meta Doubles?
I'm your father, Dr. Evil.
He also does the same observations on Lake Pontchartrain, and what he comes back with is no curves to be seen. And science is testable and repeatable. So,
How was your day?
I'm not going to verify that this is a claim of curvature until I've seen somebody else do it with somebody from both sides. You know what I mean?
Fascinating. What are your plans for this evening?
Okay, well, we'll see when that time comes, buddy. And not only that, so what you're saying is the Earth's movement has no relation to the heliocentric model? Yes or no?
And that's how you like to live your life, is it?
Besides observations in the sky, what actual measurable proof do you have that the Earth is round down here?
Scott, you just don't get it, do you? You don't.
Not up there. Not down here in reality.
Knock, knock. Let me tell you a little story about a man named
Is there a reason why?
Even before you start, that was a preemptive shh. Just know I have a whole bag of shh with your name on it.
Awesome. Thank you. And guys, there wasn't a video for that. I just, like I said, I'm still trying to figure this system out as we go. So I'm sure there's a way for me to play that over top of without us having to go to black screen. But that's not what happened. So we're gonna just go with it. Okay. Hold on, Chris.
Hey, Kyle.
Yes.
Warn me next time. I would have gulped down the rest of my gin.
You're. I think you're. Does he seem a little out of sync, Steve? Or are you hearing him?
Oh, everything's out of sync right now. But well, you might want to turn the call down. So we were looking at it from a less higher bandwidth, because I mean we're high resolution in here, and I think that's kind of killing the sync.
Okay. All right. How do I do that? Do you know?
I don't use VMX. I'm gonna have to download it and practice with it.
Well, we'll go with it.
Well, these guys are gonna be talking. They're not on cam, so there's not really have any sync issues with them.
While they're talking, I'll see if I can't figure that out. But let's go over to RiceRay and have him present why you think the Earth is flat, and then we'll let these guys respond in turn. So whenever you're ready, write your reasoning for thinking that the Earth is flat.
Okay, well, I was a Christian for a long time, believing the Earth was round, and I had no problem with it until one point I was confronted with the fact that the Bible teaches a flat Earth. So I went and looked, and yeah, I believe it does teach a flat Earth. So as a Bible-believing Christian, if I want to not be a non-sequitur by default, I have to follow my logic and say, okay, I believe it, right? That's my faith. Now, I believe that Red and all of you guys have heard all of the argument of the flat earther, so I'm not going to spend much time on this, but yeah. I'm just a backup flat earther here for now, so my point is that the Bible teaches flat earth, and I believe in the Bible, so there you have it. Yeah.
Okay. Reds, you want to start, or you want us to go to the Bible nerd and see if we can suss out where these passages are?
Well, it seems to me like the guy doesn't actually follow evidence. It's just the Bible says so, therefore it's true. So it's not really my brand of flat earth, but I guess I can ask a simple question. Do you by any chance know of a company called Blue Origin?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. Blue Origin is a company that is doing suborbital launches for the public. And this means that you actually get to go past the Kármán line into trajectory into space, and they actually experience, I think it's 5 minutes of complete weightlessness. So if I were to get you a ticket on this suborbital rocket known as the New Shepard and fly you past the point of which you would actually be in space, and you would see the curvature of the Earth, and you would experience weightlessness and all that jazz, would you come back to Earth still believing that the Earth is flat, even though you actually saw curvature directly?
Okay, now if we go with what if and when, we can go on. I can ask you, when and if unicorns start shooting diamonds, will you wear diamond rings? You see? Now, obviously, if you want to go with the if, then yes. If I would see it, then yes. Of course, obviously.
Okay, so that is if you're able to see curvature directly, then you would believe curvature. And then would you accept that the Bible was incorrect in teaching flat Earth?
Again, if we go with the if, we can, yes, sure. If and when,
Okay.
we can go anywhere with that, my friend.
Perfect. So now what if, and this is, again, if, just sticking on if,
Another if.
we were able to do something just as good or just as compelling or just as convincing, just as valid, like, for example, all the observations that myself and my friends have been making over the last 3 years, would you fall into that same conclusion? Would you be of the opinion that the Bible is incorrect in teaching flat Earth?
Again, if we go with ifs, we can talk about if all day, my friend. So you either make a point or we go with the if again. So.
Well, I just want to see if you're going to be
intellectually
honest.
I can ask you if when you die you see God and you see the flat Earth, will you then believe it's flat? See, I can do the same game. We can play the game if you want.
Yeah, I know we can do the same thing, but I'm just trying to see of the type of Christians that would go so far as to say, I don't care if you were able to jet my ass into space, I still wouldn't believe even if I'm looking at it. Because there are people like that exist. Because if you were one of those people, then I wasn't even going to have a conversation with you. I was just going to say that you're a dipshit and move on with my life. But since you are one of those people that would change, if you are one of those people that would change your opinion in the evidence, then I guess I have to ask you, why don't you find the evidence of the flat Earth convincing? Or the evidence of the round Earth convincing, I should say.
Okay, well, again, I believe there's a line that is very thin between science and scientism. And I believe that Big Bang to evolution and everything in between is scientism. This is my opinion, right?
That's
now,
fine.
I love
We're not talking
real
about that,
science. And I know. I'm just pointing here that there's a line between scientism and science. I love real science. Okay, if you give me real science, then that's all good, my friend.
Okay. Just talking about the geometry of the planet. Can you please explain to me how we have two celestial poles in which the stars rotate that are invisible to the opposite hemisphere?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, you make an assumption that the Earth is a planet, right?
No, I didn't say planet. I just asked you, why do we have two pole stars in which the stars rotate, which is...
You said the Earth was a planet. I heard you. Okay.
Okay,
now, can
then
you give me the etymology of the word planet? Because you're using a word I don't think you understand.
The feeling is mutual, but let me go ahead and rephrase it so that I don't use that word then.
Etymology of the word planet.
So let me rephrase without using the word, so it's no longer a problem. So I'll go ahead and concede. I don't know what it means. Now let me rephrase so that I don't use the word. So again, can you please explain to me how we have two pole stars in which the stars rotate that is invisible to the opposite hemisphere?
Perspective.
What is perspective?
Well, obviously, the sky as a giant dome over the flat, right? There's a limit to what you can see. So there you have it. Okay, easy as that.
That doesn't tell me what perspective is. What is perspective?
The things you see and how you see them.
Okay, that's still not answering my question. You're saying things you see and how you see them. What is the how? Do you have a mechanism? Do you have anything like that?
Again, I told you, perspective is the reason why you either don't see all of the stars or see what you see.
Okay, I can just as easily say flippity-jippity is the reason why you don't see the stars and the stars you see. Do you see how that gave me absolutely nothing to go on?
Yep, I saw that.
Okay, so please correct yourself then. Please tell me what is perspective, if it is a solution to this problem of yours.
Again, I think you've heard that many times. I've heard you many times. Okay, perspective allow you to see what you see, where you see it, and that's the reason now.
Okay, maybe I should rephrase my question. How does perspective work?
Well, it's what you perceive with your eyes.
Okay, that doesn't tell me how it works, though.
Well, then explain it to me. I mean, I don't know.
So you're asking me to explain your position?
No, I'm asking you to explain to me perspective. You want me to explain to you perspective? I can ask you the same question. Explain perspective to me. You see, it doesn't prove flat or round at this point. It's just perspective.
No, I'm actually just trying to get your definition of perspective. It seems to me like you're using the word perspective as a catch-all solution, but you don't actually know what perspective is.
I mean, we could do a Google. If you want a definition of the word, I don't mind. You see, perspective. We can do that.
So you accept the Google definition of the word perspective?
Yes. I don't make the definition of the words I use.
So basically, only Google.
No, but I think Google is correct on the definition of perspective. An outlook, a viewpoint, a point of view, a standpoint, a position, a stand, a stance, an angle, a slant, and I can keep going.
Okay, so none of this is actually limiters to why we shouldn't see the southern celestial pole from the northern hemisphere, because the same rules
So you think there's no limit to what you can see? You think you can see infinitely?
I think I can see a
Because
southern
that
celestial
would be
poles.
convenient.
I think I can see
Okay,
southern
can see
celestial
stars
poles, yes.
rotating. You can see
Around a
stars
fixed point.
rotating.
Yes.
Yeah, in the south, but there's no actual stars there. There's no actual south point there, right? South pole there. The stars are rotating. Yeah, I give you that.
Yeah, it's despite the fact that we actually have observations that show a southern celestial point.
There's no star there.
I'm not talking about a star being there, but there is
south star.
There doesn't have to be to have a southern celestial point.
I understand that.
So why even bring that up then?
Well, because I'm telling you that they're not rotating around a star like they do in the north, like Polaris. They appear to rotate around a point due to perspective. But there's no point there.
They appear to rotate around a point because they're actually rotating a fixed point in the sky.
Somebody gave me that. I don't remember the exact, but he told me to Google it, and I Googled it, and the first thing that came out was the imaginary point. I mean, if it's imaginary, then there's no point there. I give it to you. The stars are going in a circle around no stars there.
Correct. So why is the southern celestial point not visible to anyone in the northern hemisphere?
Because of what you can. You're limited by your eyes and everything else.
What defines our limit? What makes it? What is the limiting factor that prevents us from seeing the southern celestial point?
Well, many things. Distance would be the greater one. Now, obviously, the atmosphere and all of those things would be another fact. I mean, some days you go out, you can't even see the other side of the street. So,
okay, so
there's a limit to what you can see.
Okay, what defines that limit?
I just told you. You want me to tell you again?
Please do, because I don't think you answered my question.
Distance.
Okay, how does distance play a factor in?
There's a limit to what you can see due to distance.
Why?
Okay, you cannot zoom infinitely.
I can
First
see
of all, because we don't have powerful equipment. Your eyes are not powerful enough, and again, there is some water in the air, other things. I mean, you might think there's nothing between you and your computer screen, but there's a lot of things there.
Correct, and yet I can still see the moon past all that supposedly dense medium. So what's the issue here with the southern celestial point?
You assume the moon to be super far away, and
I never said
but in
that.
my model it's super close, so there's no problem seeing the moon.
Well, actually, there is a problem with the moon being super close in your model, but we will touch on that contradiction later. The point is that even in your model, the moon is also super far away, relatively speaking. So if the moon is also super far away, relatively speaking, then and the southern celestial point is also super far away, relatively speaking, and so is the northern celestial point, especially where I am in mid-Florida, relatively speaking.
Now,
then why is the southern celestial point? Why is the southern celestial point so special that equation?
I just told you, you can see Orion from everywhere, just as you can see the moon from everywhere. Okay?
Okay, so I can't help but notice that you're answering my question. I think you're using perspective as a catch-all solution without actually knowing what perspective is.
Can we get an actual working definition of which
perspective is a mathematical equation. Perspective means alpha equals 2 times the arctan of g over 2r, where alpha is the angular size of the object, g is the actual size of the object, and the distance to the object. Now, via using the actual definition of perspective, where is the limiting factor in that definition that applies to the southern celestial pole, but not the northern moon or the sun for that matter? Because give this a taste. The southern celestial point has more than enough angular resolution that we should be able to see it easily, but yet we don't. It disappears beyond the horizon. And also following the fact that parallel lines do not intersect by definition, we again have another contradiction with the flat Earth model, because via the flat Earth model, we should see it easily from everywhere, yet we don't.
Can you see Orion?
Yes, I can see Orion.
From everywhere?
Not at the same time, no.
But you can see it from everywhere?
Not at the same time, no. Not on the round Earth model.
But you can... yeah, I understand. Okay, but you can still see it from everywhere, correct? Just like the moon. You cannot see it from everywhere at every time, but you can still see it from everywhere.
You can still see it, yes.
Exactly. So there you have it. You can see Orion from everywhere. You can see the moon from everywhere. You can see the sun from everywhere, but not at the same time.
Good. So why the southern celestial pole can I not see it at all from the northern hemisphere?
I told you, it's too far away. It's beyond the equator. It's too far away.
Why is it too far away when the angular resolution of the southern celestial point from our distance would be bigger than that of the moon? So why is it that I have enough angular resolution to see the moon, but yet I don't have enough angular resolution to see the southern celestial point? Please explain this contradiction.
Exactly. I told you there's a limit to what you can see, okay? And that limit is Orion, the equator.
Why is there a limit there? What is the limiting factor?
I mean, if you want to ask that question for the whole show, we can do. I'm just going to repeat myself, so yeah.
Then that's perfectly fine, because until you give me a legit answer and quit dancing around it, then I am going to keep asking you this question.
I told you over and over again. It's too far away. It's simple.
Chris,
okay.
Hang on, let's try to get Chris in a little bit here.
Given the distance
it's not going anywhere. You're just asking the same question over and over.
I know this, so let me explain this. The distance that it is asserted to be on the flat Earth model means that the southern celestial point would have an angular size bigger than that of the moon. So that means it would easily be visible given the fact that we can still see the moon itself. So if perspective isn't a limiting factor for the moon, then it shouldn't be a limiting factor for the southern celestial point, and yet it is. Please explain this contradiction to me.
Okay. You're gonna repeat that question 20 times. I'm gonna say the same answer 20 times. There's no point. Okay, so
you don't actually have any proof. You're just making an assertion.
From everywhere, dude.
Okay,
distance.
So you he doesn't have a way to answer that question. Let's leave it at that. He can't answer why the southern pole, why the northern star, why Polaris is only seen circumpolar at certain latitudes, right? So RiceRay, you have no answer of why you can't see the North Star on the equator, right? Past the equator, south of the equator. You have no reason for that, right?
He basically can't explain what he doesn't understand.
But he's gonna.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. So distance, but you're gonna say I don't understand, and they're close in my model and whatever. And sure, you live on a spinning ball in space. Congratulations. I mean, what's the point?
Well, you do too.
Distance
you do too.
is the limiting factor. Yeah, distance
Except
is a factor.
Because distance is not a limiting factor.
Well, then it's not, and you live on a spinning ball. Congratulations.
Thank you. Go ahead.
So there's actually Rice, you profess to be a Bible-believing Christian, right?
Yes, that's the main reason why I believe flat Earth. Obviously, I do not have every answer to every scientific question, right? Now, I've been a flat Earth for less than a year, and I did my best to understand it, right? But obviously, I do not have the answer to every scientific question on that model. I believe that the model is not even yet completed. So, yeah.
Okay. So, are you aware of Matthew 4:8?
Read it for me so we're all going to be aware of it.
Okay, Matthew 4:8. It starts, "Again, the devil took him up to a very high mountain and showed him all of the kingdoms of the world and their glory. Distance is not a limiting factor, because Jesus is able to see every kingdom of the earth at once. So when you say that distance is not a limiting factor, you are contradicting Matthew 4:8. So you are contradicting the Bible if you think that distance limits your sight, which means that you have no answer for Red's question.
Mm-hmm. Now, how high was that mountain?
Doesn't say.
So you don't know.
It says a very high mountain. It says a very high mountain.
You're making an assumption. Mm-hmm. How high was that mountain? No. Where was that mountain? So you don't know. You're making assumptions.
No, it says it took him up to a very high mountain. But the height of the mountain doesn't make a difference because he's able to see across all of the earth, the entirety of the earth. So from one end of the dome to the other end of the dome without any limitation. It doesn't matter where he is. If he can see from one end of the dome to the other end of the dome, then he should be able to see every single star no matter where it is from any point on the dome.
I completely disagree, but sure.
Can I get an amen?
Are you going to explain why you disagree?
Yes, because he's making an assumption. He doesn't know where the mountain is. He doesn't know what it is. He's making an assumption. So
okay.
No, I pointed out that it doesn't matter where the mountain
by
is.
By the way, if you're up and you look, it's not the same as if you're down and you look up. Just saying, okay?
If we're talking about a really high mountain, let's try this. What is the tallest mountain in the world?
Okay. I believe it's in the middle of the North Pole, and it's being hidden from the general public. I believe.
Cool. What is the tallest mountain in the world?
I just told you what I believe it is. Now we can go with what modern science say and whatever the mountain. That's not the point here, right? I believe the highest, tallest mountain is it the North Pole, exactly at the center of the Earth.
Okay. How tall is this mountain?
Can I get an amen?
I have no idea, my friend. Tall enough so that you can see all of the kingdom of the world. Obviously.
Okay.
You have no idea.
Okay.
You have no idea the mountain exists in the first place, but
this mountain is called Olympus, Zion, Rupus Nigra. You can give it the name you want. It's the mountain at the center of the world.
Where the
reason
why
yes.
the reason why I ask is because we can bypass this shit altogether and say, okay, the tallest mountain in the world, in actuality, is Mount Everest. And I believe it's very close to exactly 30,000 feet. We have planes that can go higher than that, commercial airlines that actually go higher than that. We once had, commercial tickets in America where you can fly on the U-2, which got you up to 70,000 feet. There's still tickets that can be bought that allow you to fly on a MiG-25, I believe the aircraft is. It'll get you up to 65,000 to 70,000 feet. And still, even at that altitude, in the northern hemisphere, you do not see the southern celestial pole. So, given the fact that we're talking about a tall mountain, and this mountain out there, we've already, went beyond double its height, and yet we can't see all over the fucking place, that leads me to believe that the Bible is saying one thing, really is saying another, therefore the Bible is looking more and more like bullshit every single day.
Sure, if you don't believe it anyway, so it's you anyway, so I don't see the point.
Yeah, so given the fact that we have planes that can go very fucking high, why is it that
what about
we
if that
can't
mountain
see the
is
sun?
higher? What if that mountain take you all the way up into the heavens?
Well, we already know that's not the case because this guy films
How do you know
rockets
it?
and
Have
shit
you
in
been on
orbit.
that mountain? Have you been on that mountain?
I know the mountain doesn't exist because I've been very close to the North Pole before. It was actually very cold up there, especially as a Floridian.
Sure. Now, we're gonna have to agree to disagree, my friend.
What is this about Mount Olympus?
It's the mountain at the center of the world, Mount Zion.
So where do you think?
Olympus does not equal Zion. Mount Olympus was the mount where all of the Greek gods coalesced.
Yes. That's the mountain at the center of the world where the gods live, where Indra built the city.
Mount Olympus was in...
Okay, so Indra defeated the sea serpent with the lightning, then he built the city at the North Pole. Okay, that's called Mount Zion, Mount Olympus, the mountain where the gods live.
You're basing the existence of this mountain on unproven bullshit, and I don't know where you want me to go with this.
But let me ask you a question.
Mythology and Bible.
Well, let me ask this. You just
bullshit,
said
that's not written anywhere, by the way.
It's the mountains where the gods exist. So does that mean that you believe in more than one?
Yes, there is gods of God. Yes.
So Zeus, he was a real god?
Yes.
I am used.
Zeus is a Jupiter, Thor, Hadad.
There is. I hope year zero comes soon.
Okay. Zeus is not Jupiter. Let's not get that confused. Jupiter is actually a very different god from the Romans.
No, they can be syncretized. And I can syncretize Indra. I can syncretize Marduk, Hadad, Baal.
Hold on. Let's take it one step at a time. Let me ask this. You said that you were a Bible Christian at the beginning of this call, correct?
Yes, I am a Bible-believing Christian, and I also do something called syncretism, where I syncretize every religion to try to make them one.
But you can't do that.
Shit up as you go.
You can't do that and be the Bible. Go ahead, Chris. You're the Bible expert. What would the Bible say about holding other gods?
The only way that you could possibly reconcile this would be in the Pentateuch, because and maybe the Book of Job. Nowhere else in the Bible does it ever really even hint at there being other gods, and it's very clear by the end of Deuteronomy that there is only one God, and says so exactly that. It's in like Deuteronomy 42 or something like that.
Is it one God or one true
And
God?
I could point out that also, if we go to the Book of Judges, both books of Samuel, Kings, Chronicles, etc., it always says that there is only one God.
Yeah.
And if you go to the New Testament, every book in the New Testament will say there is only one God.
Help me out here,
Sure,
RiceRay.
Sure.
You don't
Yes,
really
yes.
believe this, do you?
So, RiceRay, would you consider yourself a polytheist?
Oh yeah, I do believe this. I do syncretism. Okay, I syncretize every religion, and there you have it.
Are you sure?
But but that means you're against the Bible.
No.
Yes,
No.
it does. The
I'm
Bible
sorry.
says there's only
That-
one
that-
God.
that's
You
a
can't
non-
say there
that's
are
a
multiple
non-sequitur.
gods.
So do you
Says there are
disagree with
multiple
second?
gods. The Bible says that the Lord is judging between the gods. There's many reference, okay, to the sons of
So
God.
2
The Lord said
Samuel
to my
7:22.
Lord, lords are the pillars. There is many. For
We can
example,
also
during the
look at-
Exodus,
I
can
could
also look
list
at
almost
2 Samuel 22, where it says the following: Therefore thou art great, O Lord God, for there is none like thee, neither is there any God besides thee.
yes, I understand that.
Sounds like he's the
Okay.
only one. according to
Rice,
Now-
Rice, I currently have a paper
Okay,
in
let
submission over
me
this
explain
very
it to you,
topic.
okay? God,
1 second, Rice.
let me
1
explain
second, Rice.
you.
Let Chris finish his point, and then we'll go to you, and we'll give you all the time you need to answer. Okay, but Chris was getting ready to make a point, and then we'll go to you. Go ahead, Chris.
Sure, sorry.
Okay, I currently have a paper in submission on the topic of other gods being present in the Bible. But guess what? They are completely demoted and completely removed by the time you get to the later portions of the Bible. By the time you get to the latest sections of the Bible written by people who are clearly monotheistic, you do not have a single person ascribing there to be multiple deities within that text. And by the time you get to the New Testament, there is never once, not a single time, that they say that there are multiple gods. Not ever. Even Satan, who is presumed to be a god in the book of Job, is being completely demoted to that of an angel and nothing more. By the time you get to the New Testament, if you are going to say that there are multiple gods, you are actively against everything that the Gospels say.
And what about that first commandment? Thou shalt have no other gods before me.
That doesn't. That one actually
Do I have any other gods before
that
him?
has to do with henotheism, actually. So that henotheism is the belief that there are multiple gods, but you only worship one.
Okay, fair enough.
Right.
Go ahead.
And
Rice,
what about like monotheistic lateralism, where you have or monolateralism, where you have the belief that multiple gods exist, but it's the Christian version.
Only
of the
worship. Monolatry and henotheism are synonymous.
Okay, I kind of
basically-
make them synonymous as well, but I was kind of getting your position on that because I think
So-
monolatry
Yeah,
is
in
synonymous.
scholarly texts, they are completely synonymous, and people use them interchangeably.
In all fairness, I don't even know why I'm here at this point. I really don't. I mean, you try to get some solid answers out of the guy, and the answer is like, "Oh, I don't know. Do you know?" And when he says yes, he just says, "Oh, you don't." Okay, I'm going to presuppose that there's this really big mountain that has never been discovered. Assume that's real. Not give you an exact verification on height, so my shit can't be debunked by the U-2 spy plane, and leave this to be a dead end for all of you guys to suffer through. There's literally no evidence in this dude's statement. No evidence in this dude's position. I follow the evidence where it leads, and this guy doesn't have any.
We should continue with the Bible route then, and just say goodby, I guess.
I mean, it would be nice.
If you have questions on science, I can do my best to answer the science question, just like I do my best to answer the Bible Bible questions.
But
Again,
you never
I'm not
answer
a
the
flat
science
earther
questions.
since forever.
Yeah,
I
I
told
mean-
you I'm trying to do my best to please you. Okay.
Hey,
Again, I
but
do not have all the
here's the
answer.
thing. But here's the thing. You can't just say because it's too far away as an answer, okay? Because that would make sense if I said, "Oh, you can't see this Dodge Charger all the way at the very end because the angular resolution of your eye is insufficient to see a object of that size at that distance." That's something that I could actually understand. But given the size and the scales that we are talking about, you should easily be able to see not only the southern celestial point, but every other goddamn star in the fucking sky. But we don't. And the reason we don't is simple. The Earth isn't fucking flat. But whenever I try to get you to explain these contradictions to me, you just give me a hollow answer of because magic. That's literally all I'm saying. Because perspective. What is perspective?
So
perspective
can
is
I
perspective.
ask you a basic question? Can I ask you a basic, not related to it?
You broke up there, but
Red?
okay.
Go ahead.
Red, can I ask you a basic okay. How does life start?
Irrelevant to the shape of the earth.
I know. I told you it was irrelevant. I just want to know. How do you think
I have no fucking clue. Abiogenesis is not my shtick.
Okay.
But I know someone that I tell you what. Let's hold on 1 second, RiceRay. Let's say goodbye to Red's if he wants to take out. And I know somebody actually that you can speak to about where life came from and all that.
I want to know. Yeah, but I do want to know what relevance that has to the shape of the earth, because I'm here to talk about the shape of the earth, because when we're talking about evolution and abiogenesis and chemistry and stuff like that,
to know.
It's just his thing. It's his thing, Red. He just wanted to. I think he just wanted to know.
To bring up an irrelevant topic, because I'm an astronomer.
No, I just wanted to know. Yeah. I told you it was irrelevant. I just wanted to know. It's okay. It's done. You don't know how life starts.
Okay, so RiceRay, can we wrap it up by you honestly didn't have an answer to his questions. I just want to make sure we get that on record here. When he asked questions like, how is it we can't see the northern star from south of the equator? Why can't we see it from all positions like we can't see other things? Anything that's circumpolar, you can't see it at any and all latitudes. So on a flat Earth, that has nothing to do with distance. Okay, distance would be irrelevant. You should be able to see it from any position on a flat Earth.
Correct.
Andromeda's millions of miles away, and it's 10 times the size of the moon or something. It's still visible.
I understand the point. Okay,
how big is Andromeda? It's like 3 times the size of a moon, right? The angular diameter.
Who you asking me?
In what model?
Let me try something, Steve. Okay.
What are stars for you? What are stars for you? Burning sun in a distant galaxies with other planets going around.
First of all, no. That's a straw man right there. The stars aren't burning. Okay, said that.
You assume that you would be able to see them. That's just an assumption. So.
No. Okay. Listen. Everything that I believe is. You may find this crazy, but it's actual facts that have been demonstrated in reality.
And I'm sure you believe in evolution.
Yeah, I do believe in. But if I
exactly that, but you believe in fact and reality, but you believe you're a shape-shifting monkey and that cows can turn into whale. Congratulations.
Yeah, I.
Red, do you believe that?
I straw man too.
Reds, I've been meaning to ask you.
Are you? Yeah, well, actually, all of us are primates. So, hello, fellow primate. How does it feel?
I'm not a ape, and I don't live on a spinning ball.
Yeah, basically, his argument is, I don't believe the round Earth because Bible, God, mountain, I can't fucking verify or know the height of. I ain't no goddamn monkey!
I know monkey.
Yeah, and I'm sure you can verify the fact that you're a shape-shifting monkey and that cows turn into whale. I'm sure you can verify that.
So I got to do this.
No, I can also verify that you don't know evolution based on what you just said, because evolution does not mean I'm a shape-shifting monkey. I don't even know the fucking topic, and at least I know that much.
But you could be.
So
yeah, basically, this guy thinks we live.
Right?
Yeah, this guy thinks we live on a flying pizza, and yet wants to go ahead and criticize my intelligence.
Why can't we hear Chris?
I'm sorry, you cannot insert the flat Earth into the heliocentric model, thinking a flat disk is going around the sun or whatever. You cannot assume and put that in your vacuum of space.
Which is why my position is not an assumption. My position, which is based on geometry and observations, is based on
an assumption,
fact.
which is the Big Bang. You start with an assumption,
name one
which is the Big
assumption.
Bang.
Name one assumption that I make when it comes to the shape of the Earth. Name one assumption I make when it comes to the shape of the Earth. Go.
That we would be able to see every stars from every distance. That's an assumption.
No, that's not an assumption. So you're off to a really bad
Well,
start
yes,
so
yes.
far.
You say we should be able to do so. You assume we should, but we cannot.
No, that's
so
not an
therefore, you think it
assumption.
proves your point.
No, that's called a geometric fact. Now, would you like to try again?
Well,
or
that's
do
an
you want to
assumption.
fail?
That's an assumption.
No, it's a
You assume you
geometric
can see every
fact,
source
dude.
from every point on my model.
No,
the
that's
case,
called
so
a
therefore you think it
geometric
proves your
fact.
model.
So, do you honestly think that
Well, then I
parallel
have to
lines
agree to disagree.
do intersect? Do parallel lines intersect?
No.
No, they don't? Okay,
Straight
then your
lines
position
don't.
is officially
Yeah,
a contradiction, so I highly recommend that until you get your shit together, you shut the fuck up.
And
And
that's
I'm
convergence.
seriously thinking that you're just a
what
poet
about
at this point.
convergence? What about convergence? Let's say we are in a very long corridor, okay? Or the parallel lines, are they not going to converge to a point and meet?
But
As you
never
say, oh, it's
intersect.
impossible, but are they not doing it?
But they will never cross over into distance, which is what would be required in order for your shit to match reality. Train tracks never cross over in the distance, now do they? Because the actual law perspective is a fucking bitch for you, isn't it?
Sure, my friend. Again, your whole model is based on assumptions, but sure.
Yeah, well, until you're actually able to name what assumption is being made, I'm going to have to call bullshit.
Well, I told you, from Big Bang to evolution and everything in between is a lie.
Big Bang is irrelevant to geometry, and so is evolution. It's irrelevant to the geometry of our planet. We're talking about shapes here, my friend. Keep it on track.
Yeah, but Big Bang and then gravity making rocks spinning
Big
around
Bang
things
and gravity is irrelevant to geometry. Stick to geometry, my friend.
Okay, if we take out gravity, then you don't have a ball floating in space, do you?
Okay, are these two separate questions? Why is Earth a ball and is Earth a ball? Are those two separate questions?
What?
let me repeat.
Exactly.
Are these two separate questions? Why Earth
Well, if
is
you
a
ask
ball
two questions,
and
then yes, they are two
is Earth a
separate
ball?
questions.
Are those two separate questions
Again,
that have
if you
different
ask
answers?
if you ask two questions, then yes, it's two questions.
No, is it two different questions that have different answers?
Yeah, if they are okay, different questions that have different answers, that's them, right? Because two questions are two different questions. They are not the same.
Are you
because
really
you ask two
this
of them.
dense? Are you really this dense?
I must, because I'm not flying off in space.
Yeah. Why are you
I'm
not able
sticking
to
the
grasp
origins
this
of
very
density.
simple concept? No, and also you're not flying because of gravity. So why exactly do you not understand that why Earth is a sphere and is Earth a sphere are two separate questions that have total answers?
I told you I understand there are two different questions. If you ask two questions, they are by default.
Okay. If you
questions.
understand that those are two different answers, and stop conflating gravity with geometry.
And while there's a break, Chris, check your email real quick. We're having some issues with hearing you. If you can hear this,
yeah,
go ahead,
I can
Reds.
hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, can now. Okay. All right,
This guy
Rice.
literally doesn't know is versus how. I think I'm gonna tune out here.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean,
get back to me when you have some actual evidence for the flat Earth. Okay.
I'll get back to you when we have Mr. Intelligent Design.
Oh God, no! Actually, please don't get back to me once you have Mr. Intelligent Design. In fact, Kyle, you can go fuck yourself if you have Mr. Intelligent Design.
Oh no, we still have an arrangement, sir. I'll have you know.
Fuck me. Okay, guys, I'm gonna go kill myself with a bungee cord. Peace out.
Good. See you, Reds. Okay, so you alluded to your proclivities with evolution, so I figured that this would be a great talk for Steve to jump in with, and then Chris can answer any questions that you have as well, because he knows the Bible inside and out. So do you want to go ahead and try to make your case for
I don't
evolution?
know it that well, but...
Oh, yes, you do.
Well, my point is that we can observe four things: speciation, variation, natural and unnatural selection, none of which are evolution. If you decide to add billions of years to this and call it science and think that a cow can turn into a whale, I don't think it's science. I believe it's scientism.
All right, so you want me to address this? Okay, so can you show me a citation in science where it shows a cow turning into a whale? That's the claim. Can you show me your citation for that so we can address it?
It was let's do this before you jump into the science aspect. Let's have Chris speak to the like the biblical aspect of like the verses that he's getting this from, and then you can come in and talk to him about the science. That way we get kind of like a two-pronged approach, and you both can get involved, because I feel like Chris has sat there patiently the discussion. So Chris, jump in there with like the Adam and Eve story, or the story of creation. How do we know that's allegory or a metaphor? And then when you're finished with that, Steve, you can explain why it doesn't make sense scientifically.
Okay, so in the Bible, we actually have multiple different creation stories. Isaiah and the book of Job both present a chaos creation where God basically battles these chaos demon dragon creatures, very similar to other myths of the time, like Baal kills and slays Rahab and a few others. Then you have two different versions of creation in Genesis itself. Genesis 1:1 through 2:3 is a creation story which is basically a direct copy of the Enuma Elish, which is the Babylonian creation myth. And then Genesis 2:4 through however many verses are in Genesis 2, I don't remember, is the second creation story. And both of them contradict each other. For example, was woman created after man and after all the animals, or at the same time as man? Because both Genesis 1 and Genesis 2 contradict each other on that. Was there plant life before Adam was created? Was there a garden? Was the garden made before or after? And a bunch of other things that are all thing. Also, the method by which God ends up creating is also different, well, because in Genesis 1, he separates waters from the waters, same way Marduk ends up slaying Tiamat and splitting in her heart, and she's basically a primordial sea goddess of a sort. Splits her in half, and the top becomes the firmament, bottom the land, firmament, water area. Whereas in Genesis, and this was in Genesis 1, Genesis 2, on the other hand, we already start at the land, and then he causes a spring to well up. So we have two completely contradictory creation stories. The Genesis 1 looks like it was added at a later date. We think most scholars agree that it originally began with the Genesis 2 creation myth. The Genesis 2 creation myth and what follows later is basically a parallel of the Babylonian exile. It is in terms of the storyline, portrays that very well. So you have God creates this wonderful place for Israel to live in, and then they disobey him, i.e. Adam and Eve, eat of the fruit. They, due to the tempting of some neighbor of theirs, the snake, and then they are cast out and barred from entering again. And so we have the direct Babylonian parallel. It's paralleled again with the flood myth. It's paralleled again after that with the Tower of Babel. And then it's really paralleled with other stories as well, like the whole Exodus is another one. So what we have here is that the whole story is just an allegory for the Babylonian exile in the end.
And how would you answer that, Rice?
Well, I love the knowledge. Now, I disagree a little bit with your Tiamat thing in the sense that Marduk actually cast a net to trap Tiamat under the net, which I believe this is the firmament. Okay? And then he cuts the Tiamat and makes the earth with it. Now, Tiamat represents the chaos or one of the primordial water. Abzu was the the husband of Tiamat. Okay. Now, if you want to say that,
right that
syncretized, what? Sorry.
You are right that he traps her under the net and everything, but you're forgetting that he does dismember her, and then that's how he splits the firmaments.
The earth. He creates the earth with her body. The firmament is the net.
After he splits her apart, separating the waters.
Oh, that's...
He separates the waters from the waters.
You are forgetting that he dismembers her, and I have it. Where is it?
Yeah, he dismembers her and he makes the earth with her.
Somewhere.
It's kind of graphic.
Yes,
he cuts her up in pieces.
There. I have it right here. He dismembers her. With her, he creates separates the firmaments and then creates the land. But you're trying to negate the fact that he still splits her in half and separates the firmaments by doing it. Well, splits her into several pieces, but
again, we almost agree. The net is the firmament. He cuts her up. He makes the earth. Now, every creation.
Do you believe that really happened, Rice?
It starts. Yes.
Do you believe that really happened?
With the two primordial. Yes, it starts with the two primordial water every time. You can go Genesis verse 2. It says that the Spirit of God is hovering above the face of the deep, moving the face of the waters. He's moving above. Now, if you go and you syncretize that with the Egyptian, okay, it's Atum. Atum is a self-created god, and he comes out of the primordial water. And then he creates Shu, which is the wind, and a couple of their children. They go and explore the water and they get lost, so it creates Ra to find them, which again can be syncretized with Genesis, right? Spirits of God moving above the face of the deep, and then he says that there be light. He creates Ra. Right?
So I just have to ask you: you honestly believe that a woman opened and created the firmament with her?
What was the question? Sorry.
When you said that,
you're also. You also mess up your Egyptian mythology because actually the first gods that Atum creates is Shu and Tehut, if I remember correctly.
What I said was the wind.
You said that he creates Ra. You said he created.
No. The other gods, right? I create Shu and one, and the two go out to explore the primordial water. They get lost. Then he creates Ra to go look for them. That's what I said.
All right. So let's go over to Steve and Steve, can you shed some light somewhere? I'm so lost.
I don't know anything about that particular topic. Yeah, I have nothing to add to that because the Bible just isn't my shtick. I mean,
go to the science.
I mean, okay, because I am curious because he said that a cow changing into a whale. So I have to ask for the original source. What source says that a cow? And now you talk about an actual individual cow going to sleep one day and waking up and tomorrow it's a whale.
No, obviously not. Okay, I understand the concept of evolution.
Oh, should be a population
I
of whales.
understand the concept.
Okay. So, well, I'm not sure that you do. That's why I really.
Yeah, I do. I just disagree with it. I do, but I just disagree.
Can you show me? Okay, sure. Do you understand that cows are bovines, and whales are cetacea?
Yes.
Cetacea. Okay. So
yes.
Whale population. Can you show me a source from an academic publication of any kind that a population of whales became a population of cows? Because that would invalidate the theory of evolution.
Yes, because they both have calves.
Cows are not whales; they're bovines.
But they both have calves.
If cows can't, they both have calves. This is true.
Confirmed.
Again, Steve,
they're both mammals.
That's what I thought. Yeah, that's what I was taught going through the system in Canada.
Let me finish. Cows are not whales, right? If they became whale, they would still be whales. That's called a monophyletic clade. So where have you read that whales populations have become cows?
Well, that's what, again, during my biology classes in Canada, during my education, I was also taught that men come from primates, inferior.
Okay, that's not my question.
Kind of
I didn't ask about man.
No,
I asked
I know,
for
but
citation.
you,
Okay, so all you have is
I don't have the
anecdotal
source right
story.
now. I don't have the source.
Okay, so you have.
That's what
okay,
I was
I just
taught.
want to clarify that. So you have an anecdotal story from what you misunderstood it in your biology class. Because I'm sure they brought things up called
I tell you,
Pakicetus and Amblycetus. Have you heard of those? Pakicetus?
I understand the concept. I just disagree with the
No,
outcome.
you don't. No, I'm telling you right here, you don't. If you think that a whale population became a cow population, you don't understand the concepts. There is an
I don't think
Amblycetus and
it
there's
happened.
Pakicetus. Well, neither does science. You have a straw man.
Okay, then. Well, that's what I was taught. Then, I mean, my biology.
No. What happened was you misunderstood it. Because if you were taught that, you can go right now and validate it, and you can go find a source that validates what you just said. But you can't, because there's no such source out there. Why do you think there's no such source out there?
Cows to whale, just cow to whale evolution. I mean, I just googled it. The evolution of whale. I'm gonna click the first link. Evolution Berkeley. So yeah, I mean, they clearly say that. Yeah, here we go. You want evolution Berkeley?
Yeah, I know the page very well.
Pakicetus becoming an Ambulocetus.
Ambulocetus, two words that I just mentioned to you. So yes, I know what these concepts are.
So there you have it. That's exactly what I was taught in school.
That is not what you taught, and you're not even reading that correctly. Ambulocetus or Pakicetus is not a cow. A cow did not come from a whale population. These are common ancestors. Do you understand what a common ancestor is?
Yes, but I disagree. I have a common ancestor with anything else than a man.
I'm not asking you about you. We're talking about whales and cows. Pakicetus and Ambulocetus are common ancestors. But a cow did not come from that lineage. It did not come from a line of whales. Do you understand?
Okay, well, again, that's what I was taught. I'm sorry if I strawman.
I don't believe that you were taught that. I think you just didn't understand it because you're not showing any comprehension of this whatsoever. So if you don't understand it now, I have a reason to believe you didn't understand it then. Because I know a lot of science teachers. I know a lot of biologists. I guarantee it. Not one of them has ever taught what you are suggesting they taught. Not one. So could it be that you just didn't understand it properly?
If I look there, you see it start with an hippopotamus. Is that better for you? What? Hippopotamus became whales? Do you prefer that?
No, not a hippopotamus to become a whale.
Well, that's exactly what Berkeley says. I'm looking at the graph right there. It starts with an hippopotamus millions of years ago, and then it goes to the Indolius, then a Pakicetus, a Bucolic, until the whale. I'll give you the link.
Those are common ancestors, though.
Yeah, I understand. I understand the concept. I disagree with it.
Can I get an amen?
Well, you don't understand your concepts because you're thinking a hippopotamus population over time became a whale population. That's not how it works. Something diverged. One population became hippopotami, and the other populations would go on to form Pakicetus, Ambulocetus, Rhodentcetus. I can't pronounce half of them. I don't remember half of them. But there's a whole bunch of them. And then obviously two modern whales. So you have a common ancestor population, whatever that was. It split. One of them became hippopotami. The other one became all the other ones that have to do with Pakicetus and Ambulocetus and those. Right? So when you're saying that hippopotamus population diverged into whale and hippopotami, no, that's absurd. Hippopotami is a line of phylogeny than whales. And if you need to get Aaron in here to help explain it, because he knows how to pronounce half these things that I can't, because that's what he does, we can do that.
Okay.
I understand the concepts.
Again,
so
I understand the concept. I'm sorry if I strawman.
Okay, well that's cool. We want people to learn from here.
Yeah, I completely disagree that hippopotamus and whales have a common ancestor. I believe they are two separated creation. So.
Okay, no, that's fine. No, that's a different claim.
I don't think you can. empirically prove to me that anything, again, to use a Kent Helven term that you're probably familiar with, anything can produce outside of its kind. I don't believe that.
No, please.
I can.
Please, no.
Yeah, we really can.
Please don't kind us tonight. Please don't kind us. We can't take it.
I know, but again,
dogs will never produce non-dogs. Okay?
Exactly.
Oh, God.
That's what I believe. But again, you have a problem with evolution, because if you go back far enough,
no, we don't.
Everything started with what? One single cell organism in the water. So technically, you're related to everything according to evolution.
Well,
all
life is related.
Congratulations.
Yes, we are all related.
Show that. We can demonstrate that. And
you're related to that pumpkin on the screen right there. You are related to that pumpkin.
You are related to Red.
I thought that was CGI.
Again, I don't believe that. You can show me similarities, but similarities don't prove evolution.
They can show you, but you won't want to see it. You won't acknowledge it. You won't accept it.
Show me what? What can you show me?
Okay, first of all, every line of evidence we have indicates. Every line we have indicates that we are related to everything. We could use phylogenetics. We can use cladistics. We can use proteomics. We can use ERVs. We can use mitochondrial DNA. We can use molecular clocks. We can use
fossils,
changes, fossil record, Gulag gene, genes, you name it. We can show that everything we look at is what we would expect if we're related to anything else.
I don't think that similarity proves evolution.
Well, and
I think that
dropping
similarity
something to the ground doesn't prove gravity. It shows gravity exists, right? It doesn't prove gravity, but it shows gravity exists. We can show evolution exists. We can show that we are related to every other primate out because of genetics and the fossil record. There's a comparative homologies there, comparative morphology, comparative anatomical things. We are actually apes. I mean, we need.
Okay, no,
we have. Are you familiar with the human chromosome number 2 fusion?
Right? No, I don't know. Maybe.
Okay, so you're not familiar with a lot of the even evidence out there. You're just dismissing it by fiat. So the human chromosome number 2 fusion is what happened about 3 to 6 million years ago. It was similar.
Can
to
you empirically prove that?
Similar to the chromosomes. Yes, well, I can demonstrate it to you. If you look at pan-troglodyte 12 and pan-troglodyte 13, which is chimpanzee chromosomes, you look at human chromosome number 2, 2A and 2B, you'll see that they literally are head-to-head fusion, where they're like this.
Yeah.
Where they have the telomere in the middle.
Yes.
The cryptic telomere. Okay, that can only be on a fusion.
Yeah, I'm familiar with
telomeres
that.
are normally on the end of the chromosome. That is why we have a diploid number of 2n46, and all members of Homodia have 2n48, because there was a chromosome loss because of what's called a Robertsonian translocation or a fusion event. This is something we can actually demonstrate because we've actually sequenced the site. We've actually shown that you can actually see it go TTA, TGG, and then the antithesis of that. So you can actually see like 16 different repeats head to head. That is overwhelming evidence of a fusion.
You see a fusion. You see a fusion in the chromosome.
The two chromosomes fused together to form one. Yes. There's a fingerprint on there. It's overwhelming.
Okay.
That's the only
now
explanation.
Give me a scientific experiment. Give me a scientific experiment that is repeatable, observable, and testable that shows that this can happen.
You just did.
Say
You
happen
have
by
others-
design.
Look it up yourself.
We've seen it happen in the
Look in the
monkjack
mirror.
deer. We've seen it happen. We've seen it in ants.
Again,
We've seen it
look in the
multiple
mirror. Look in the mirror is not a proof of anything.
You are evolution.
Are you saying
Now?
Are you really
I am
translation
design.
don't happen?
I was designed.
No. I really want you to answer this. Are you really telling me that translocations do not happen? Are you really telling me that chromosomal fusions don't happen?
No, I'm not telling you it
Okay,
happened.
then if they happen, right? Because we know they happen. We have a man right now living in China.
It didn't happen the way you think it did, and the time frame, the paradigm is wrong.
Well, you're just throwing out stuff. You're not giving any evidence for anything. You're just throwing stuff out. I'm giving you actual evidence.
Are you familiar with entropy?
Are
you familiar with entropy?
Oh,
yes,
good
yes,
God!
I'm
Don't
familiar
even
with
try
entropy.
and bring up
You are not.
fucking entropy.
I guarantee you're not familiar with entropy. Because you want to go down this, be my guest. But what is entropy? What is entropy?
Things tend toward chaos over time.
No, no, it's not.
Things degrade over
You
time.
need to go back to college. You didn't go. Entropy is actually the
You go back
unusable
to
evidence in a
elementary
system.
school.
Literally, that's what entropy is. It's the unused
And,
energy in
and,
a system.
If
It's
you want to go
formulated
with
by S
insults,
equals
you can go with insults.
Look at
Okay.
S equals K
I can
ln
tell you,
omega,
you need to
which is
go
a very
back to the
simple
church.
thing for an ideal gas. Well, no, you asked me if I know about entropy. And by the way, I went to Naval Nuclear Power School. Okay, I actually supervise people how to operate nuclear power plants. I have a little bit of understanding of entropy. So when you ask me these questions, let me educate you, because you clearly have no idea what entropy actually is. Do you know what a Boltzmann constant is? Do you know what the ideal formula is for entropy?
Educate me.
Okay, then
No,
why are you
no, I don't
telling
know.
me? Why
I
are you
understand the
asking me if I know
concept,
about
though.
entropy if you don't? No,
Well,
you
I
don't.
understand the concept of it.
I don't think
Well,
you do.
then I don't. Congratulations. You've
Entropy
been...
has to do with the information required to describe the state of a system.
What
Okay.
do you, Steve? Ask him what's your opinion on Occam's razor?
Declining towards chaos.
How do you feel about Occam's razor?
That is not what entropy
Rice.
is. It has, chaos increases entropy, but the biggest factor in entropy is temperature, actually.
Yeah. Again, I believe we live in a closed system, right? So I believe entropy affects us. We live in a closed system. It tends with chaos.
Have you
and
been
it's
outside and
degrading.
you see a big ball of light in the sky? That's called the sun. We have an entropic system between the Earth and the sun. So if entropy goes down on the Earth, it goes up on the sun. So imagine you have you take sugar and you put it in water. What's going to happen? It's going to dissolve, right? Now you leave that in the sun, it evaporates. You're not going to have crystalline sugar form out of it, forming crystals. That is a higher entropic state, or a lower entropic state, because you have a higher complexity, because lower entropy has occurred localized, but the sun increased its entropy. And as long as the net entropy of the universe goes up based on the second law of thermodynamics, then it's okay to do that. Evolution works on the same principle. Localized entropy can be decreased. It's called ratcheting, where you can have higher complexity because we have an open relationship between the Earth and the sun. Now, if you want to refute that, give me some. You said you love science. You have not given me any science whatsoever. I've given you actual science because I've actually studied this stuff a long time ago. You have given me no science whatsoever. So why would you say you like science if you're not willing to actually go learn the actual science?
You ready to tap out, Rice? It's okay.
No, I don't mind. I mean, I'm not surprised by the point you guys are making or anything. I mean, at this point, I just came as a replacement. So, I mean,
yeah, sure.
Look, I told you.
I get that.
Sure.
I'm not trying to beat up on you. I really want you to learn this stuff. But I know the science a little bit.
Again,
Chris knows the Bible way better than I could ever hope to. So if you need biblical stuff, go to him.
Well,
Yeah,
I don't need nobody to explain to me the Bible.
Chris was going to
surely not an unbeliever.
Let Chris jump in real quick. Rice, go ahead, Chris.
Sure.
Rice, you said, was Tiamat's body used to split the waters?
Again, I think it was the net. That is a reference to the firmament.
So I'm going to read to you from Tablet 4, lines 138, lines 142. One half of her he established as a covering for heaven. He fixed a bolt, he stationed watchmen, and bade them not to let her waters come forth. He passed through the heavens, he surveyed the regions, and over against the deep he set the of Nidumid. So, I'm curious as to how you're going to interpret, and he bade them not to let her waters come forth after he split her in half to create the heavens, to stop the waters from coming forth, using her body.
Oh, okay, yeah. It's all good. Then you use their body to make the firmament. Seems legit. I mean, I was maybe wrong. I'm not a professional by any means.
Then why were you saying that wasn't the case? It's clear you haven't read.
Well, because I thought it was the net. I thought it was the net.
The net was just one of many.
If it's the body.
It's It's okay. The net was one of many tools used to kill her and trap her, not used to split her and to then used in creation. If you want to read the whole thing, this is a little quite a bit outdated now, but Leonard W. King's The Enema Elish, 2 volumes in 1. You can get it on Amazon for like $20. And since there were other people wondering for my sources, another one that's a little outdated, but it's okay. History of Greek religion and Stories from Ancient Canaan, all great introductory work. But yeah, you were adamantly wrong about that. But
yeah, it's okay.
saying that you know
I admit it.
It's okay, but you keep saying that you know these things and then telling me that I was wrong.
Well, I know them. I know those things to the best of my ability. I mean, you gave me the text here. I say, okay, it's all good. I'll change my belief. No problem with that.
So as we come to a little bit of a close, I think we're getting to a wrapping up point. People are wanting to know what your stance on razor is. Do you abide by Occam's razor?
They want to know what?
They want to know how you feel about Occam.
Sorry, your mic is cutting.
Occam's razor?
What do you feel about Occam's razor? Do you know what Occam's razor is? Law of parsimony. Some people call it law of parsimony. It's actually parsimony, but never heard of it? You don't multiply your axioms more than what you need, and basically 2 competing hypotheses of equal explanatory and predictive power, you take the one with the least amount of assumptions.
Yes.
If you're somebody who doesn't like science, and you don't know Occam's razor is really kind of disturbing. Do you know Kyle's razor?
I have no problem with that. Obviously, the one with the less assumption. Yeah, obviously the one with the less assumption is going to be the best one. Yes, I don't.
Have you heard of Kyle's razor though?
The what?
Kyle's razor.
The Arkham razor? Yes.
Kyle's razor.
No, I mean no.
Okay.
What's that? Is that an inside joke with Kyle? I mean.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
It's a scientific. It's on its way to becoming scientific fact.
Yeah, he's going to get published here soon.
I'm gonna get a Nobel Peace Prize. So yeah, let's switch over to Super Chat, Steve. We'll get those knocked out, and then let these guys plug their channels, and we'll. It was kind of hectic. I appreciate you both staying on and coming on. RiceRay, Chris, we'll get you back here when you can be centered around a more Bible-oriented topic the entire time, and it's not as all over the place and crazy. Sometimes we just have to jump in the deep end and swim. So that's what we did tonight.
That's totally fine. Enjoyed myself, so.
Good deal.
Yeah, welcome to NonSequitur, Chris. Okay. Yeah. He's like, I'm never coming back.
This is part of our charm.
This is the trial fire. Down wheel, 20 Canadian. Seeing as Mr. Diaz, Mr. Idea is a no-show, can someone please get an egg, some TP, and do a demo? We might have to do that one of these days. Can Steve make a video on that? Can they actually show Mr. Intelligence Design's experiment? Because that'd be actually really cool. I mean, I understand his experiment. Well, I don't understand the experiment. I know how he did it, but yeah, that'd be actually pretty cool. Steven Stein, $2. Logic scale: agnostic, Christian, theist, atheist. Or wait a minute. Agnostic is greater than Christian. Christian is greater than theist. Theist is greater than atheist. I wouldn't have it in that order, I don't think. But agnostic, atheist, theist, Christian. I think that's the way I'd kind of put it. But Brian Stevens, $2. Let's buy him a ticket if he pays double if he's wrong. Yeah. So, would you go into outer space and see if the Earth was flat, Rice? Would you do it if somebody paid for it?
Yeah. As I said, if we go with the if and you buy me a way up, I'll go. I don't mind. Put me in a rocket.
And how embarrassed would you be to find out that it's not flat?
Oh, not that much, to be honest. I mean, I'm willing to go back on my position if showed wrong. I'm an humble man.
I kind of
try at
respect
least.
that. I would be embarrassed to be a flat earther. I honestly would. But the Athens 619, $5. Perspective is the answer. Rhetoric. Trigger intensifies. Reds didn't get triggered, did he?
Yeah.
He really didn't get triggered. Damn. Cajun
I mean, you
crustacean.
can bring me
$5.
back anytime.
Sure, sure. Oh no, I plan to have more conversations when it comes to the evolution thing with some other people. Say perspective again. Say perspective again. I dare you. I double dog dare you, you motherfucker or mother flurfer. Say perspective one more time, Paul Flurfer. Yeah.
Yeah, that's from
Perspective.
That's Razor Wotan edition.
Yeah. Jamie made a good video on that.
Mm-hmm. Trent
Benefield, $10. Is the sun too close? If you know the dimensions, distance, and temperature of the sun, can we measure the thermal radiation we would receive? I bet we won't get around 1 kilowatt per meter squared. Yeah, actually we can. It's the luminosity, intensity, obviously the field intensity you can measure, right? How many kilowatts per meter squared you're measured. We also can measure the neutrinos from the sun, and they've actually done that in the last couple of years and determined that the amount of neutrinos coming from the sun that used to be missing is exactly what it would be for protactions and other types of cycles in the sun. So the fact that we know the sun is a fusion reactor, we know it produces neutrinos because of that, and we can detect those neutrinos. We know that the sun is around 93 million miles away, because if it was any closer, we would be toast. Well, much closer. So yeah, we can definitely use all this physics and math to determine that the sun is definitely 93 million miles away and much, much larger than the Earth. Sofrito, $10. It is not a contradiction that Sigma Octantis is only 5 degrees away from the North Pole star, yet the round model says that they should be more than greater than 95 degrees and not in any way not seen in reality. What does he mean by Sigma Octantis is only 5 degrees away from the North Pole star? Sigma Octantis is the South Pole star.
I don't know.
I don't know what you mean by that. So, I think he means only 5 degrees off of the South Pole, because it's not the North Pole. If you look directly up, then you're going to have the North Star, which is less than 1 degree off. But the Sigma Octantis is a couple degrees off of the North Pole. Is it correct? Which means the South Pole, right?
I think so.
We'll go with that. Brian Stevens, $2. I disagree, but sure. Quote of the night. I disagree.
Let's agree to disagree, my friend.
Yeah, man, we got a lot of super chats. Thank you all, guys. Magic Pagan, £5. Suggestion: NonSequitur round Earth proof. We've worldwide volunteers right here. Stephen Red will sort the mathematics. I do the mathematics to Reds. I don't do a lot with the whole trig geometry stuff. He does. I'm probably a little bit better maybe at basic calc. I don't know if he knows basic calc too well. He's learning it. But I don't do advanced calc, just basic. Stephen Bauman, $5. Ask him if Santa parks his sleigh on a mountain.
Does he? Rice?
Okay.
North Pole.
I believe there's a North Pole, and I found a couple of maps, including a Mercator projection, where it's written that there's pygmies living on one of the 4 islands at the North Pole. So the more and the more I look into this, the more more I believe there is some actual pygmies at the North Pole. So yeah.
Are you telling me
North Pole with the pygmies?
Are you telling me that there is a possibility that Santa Claus might exist?
Yes.
Oh.
Obviously not the one giving presents to every kid on Earth in one night.
Obviously not that one, but another one might exist. Okay.
Okay,
but I believe you can syncretize Santa Claus.
By the way, I want to Jimmy a huge apology.
I want to tell you. I told you people last night, did I not? I said that I would introduce you to someone who believed in Santa Claus. I didn't think it would happen this early. I didn't think this would happen, but nonetheless, look, I foretold this. I am a prophet now. I'm a prophet.
He's a prophet.
I agree.
I am a dirt prophet.
No, if you want, guys, I'll give you the map and everything where it says there's pygmies living at the North Pole. And
I still think I want it.
No?
No.
You don't want to believe in Santa Claus again?
No.
You're done with that?
I
Yeah.
hope that you're poing it out like crazy right now. I hope. I'm thinking
You're
about
doing a
praying
great
for
job,
you.
you are.
I'm thinking about praying for you. That's how serious it's getting.
Well, if
His
you
soul
start
may
to
need some
pray,
encouragement.
then I'll be happy. Yes, please pray for me.
0132132 $5.05. We can't see a very tall mountain from quote every kingdom on earth. So how can you see United States by standing on it? Which is true. I mean, you can't see every location from the ground. Obviously, it's going to appear to be flat, which is a perspective thing, actually. So Fredo again, $2. Is this God or flat? You can't sink fallacies.
That's
What?
argument ad synchrium. Argument ad synchrium.
Yeah, because if you believe in the wall Earth, you have to be somebody who believes you're a monkey, because we're all just monkeys flying around on a spinning globe, which we
With
are.
pixies with pixies and Santa Claus.
I know it
No,
sucks. For
I'm
some
the
people
one
to try to
believing in
believe that.
Santa Claus. Okay,
We
you
know.
guys believe in shape-shifting monkeys, and I believe in Santa Claus.
I've never shapeshifted.
Get your facts straight.
Have you ever seen a scientist say that they believe in shapeshifting monkeys? Have you seen anyone ever say that?
No. Obviously,
Then why are you
this is a
saying
joke.
it if nobody's ever believed it?
This is why we can't have
okay.
nice things. This is why we can't have nice things
know.
as a society. This is exactly why.
Did you put your gloves on at all?
I'm gonna be like 40 in a mental hospital, shaking in the corner of a padded room from everything that I saw in this
Drooling.
year of this show, day in and day out. I'll be drooling.
Well, here's something good. Caroline
Sorry.
Clark, $10. Thank you, Caroline. Stephen Kyle, buy yourself a beer. You deserve it with these imbeciles. You know what? I might after this show, if I don't do another hangout, because I told a friend of mine, Rihanna from a podcast on Blog Talk Radio, that I might do a thing with her tonight. But if I don't, I'm going out and I'm buying some beer. So
I love her.
thank you with that.
I love her. Her last album. Can you tell her that for me?
We love your last album, Caroline Clark.
Oh, I thought you said Rihanna.
Oh, Rihanna. Oh, Rihanna. Oh, my Rihanna. Oh, okay. Yeah, different Rihanna. Nicholas Brand, $2. That's no Poe. That's a Wilfo one. Okay. Ouch. Are you a Wilfo one or are you a Poe?
Can I
What do you,
get an amen?
be honest. We don't. It's at the end of the show. We ain't gonna be mad either way. You're not a Poe.
Sorry, there's something going on in my house. I can hear shit. My dog is going crazy and everything. Sorry.
Okay. So, did you hear my question? Are you actually a Poe, or do you actually believe this?
No, I believe everything I said tonight.
Okay.
No.
See if,
I mean, I run a
Fredo again,
server.
$5.
But
Well, that's true. He does run a server. Evolution is a lie. So, I mean, he's invested a lot of time in it. Is there an academic, scholarly?
It should be called. It should be called Ho Ho Hoaxes.
That's the new thing now. Santa exists. Santa, he's real. Is there an academic, scholarly, observable proof and source that explains a fish to man hypothesis in reality with understandable concepts? Yes, you can actually go read a book called Your Inner Fish. It's by a scientist, PhD biologist by the name of Neil Shubin. It's a great book. Highly recommend it. It does actually explain fish to man transition, including the reptile mammal transition. It also gets into the organized region and how that developed into the Hox genes. And it also explains very clearly that man is a fish monophyletically. So, yeah. Flint Reed, £2. This guy is a world-class moron. I don't want to bash the guy too much.
I don't mind the insult.
You don't know science. I'll give him that. He doesn't know science. Although he professes a lot of science, doesn't know a damn thing about it.
That's the thing. I mean, I completely disagree here because, I mean, if you believe in evolution, I think you don't understand science. But sure.
Well, I can guarantee it if we go toe for toe, I'm probably going to be able to inform you on information that I know compared to what you know when it comes to science. I think Kyle can even do that, and Kyle hates science.
What?
Kyle likes science, but even Kyle has way more understanding of science.
I do not hate science. I just don't.
Hey guys, Mr. ID just showed up in the chat.
What?
Get out.
I'm not kidding. He just showed up in the chat.
I'm trying to read
Mr. ID, what the hell? Get in here. How can you show up in the chat talk, but we have been waiting on you since 8 o'clock?
Yeah, so let me get these. Let me read these real quick and get them out of the way. Factard, he says, for $2.79 Canadian. Reds, a Bible thumper on the same team cunt. Yes, team cunt. Go team cunt. The Athens 619 $2. Ken Hovind Jr. I've talked to Ken Hovind Jr., which is Eric Hovind, numerous times. Even Eric knows nothing about science, abysmally so. Brian Stevens, $2. West proves flying monkeys. QED round Earth. There you go. And one more from Silfredo, $5. Sigma Octantis is impossibly agreed 1 degree off near South Pole Star. For those who don't know, go Rams 8.0. There you go. Yeah, I think Sigma Octantis is a little bit more than that, but I don't remember, to be honest with you, and I'm not going to go look it up. But I do remember that Sigma Octantis is not directly above the southern pole. So, but anyways, those are the super chats. Now find out what happened to Mr. ID, because I am curious myself.
Yeah, he's right here in the in our the call chat line.
Wait, he's the
like,
call.
Hi guys.
He's in the call.
Oh, he's in the call.
He says, "Hi guys, sorry I'm late." Yeah, it's right here.
Oh, Mr. ID, say something.
Hello.
Oh hell!
My God.
My fucking God.
Okay, tell us what happened, Mr. ID.
Today I have a work late in the morning, so I don't have a time to come here. And I got cold. I was late, but I thank you for continuing, even though I am not here. Thank you.
So why I still don't understand why you're late. Is he breaking up for you guys?
A little. I think he said that he
quite a lot.
He worked
He's
late.
breaking up.
Mr.
Yeah,
ID
Says he works in the morning or some shit.
Yes, my work today is the morning, so I don't have a time. And then yesterday I got cold, so it's a double punch to me. And when my one computer, I normally use for it was down, so it was a bad timing for me. Can you hear me?
A series of unfortunate events.
Yes. But anyway, thank you for continuing this discussion. Even though I am not here, no, thank you.
Are you sure you want to thank us?
Well, yeah. I mean, I don't know if we.
Because
you should thank me.
Yeah, you should thank RiceRay.
Right.
So,
right.
Mr. ID, when can we reschedule this then?
Well, first, I think Red is about asking Chris to help you understand, to explain to him the new intelligent design.
Yeah, he's serious because he showed up. Chris was here.
Yeah, I'm right here.
No. But I want first to Chris if he is quiet, because I will be sharing the pretty intelligent design to Chris. If he is qualified, then I will. Okay.
Mr. ID, I'm going to I need to let me reset your call because you're breaking up really bad. I don't know if you're in a bad spot or something like that, but I'm going to let me try this. Let me send you this link. I'll send it to your email. Try this, and maybe we'll be able to hear you. We'll be able to hear you better.
Okay, I got it.
See if that works. Okay, Steve, and try to sum that up while I send this to him.
I think that's the last of the super chats, but I'm going to check here in a second.
Sorry for the awkward silence, guys. I have to reset this call.
He does that. Let me
Awkward silence.
refresh my super chats and nope, that was the last one.
I mean, his
So,
his
I mean,
mic
do you guys
sounded
want-
like it
Chris,
was having
do-
an epileptic seizure.
Yeah, he's in Japan. Do you want to try to make arrangements for him now that we got both of you here for a future event where you can come and join us?
I mean, I'm willing to do it as long as we can make sure he's here, because I don't want to end up with that being another no-show. It'd be like, what, 3 in a row?
Yep.
Because he didn't show up for that first
That would
debate he
be-
was supposed to do with someone else, and then this one, so...
Oh, and Carolina Biker Prepper. That's probably me getting my dates mixed up. I had you down for just email me on at Kyle@nonsectshow.com and we'll put it back on the calendar for whenever you're here or able to do it. That was probably just a mistake on my part. I do that from time to time. Even though I am a prophet, I still humbly make mistakes. So forgive me.
It just means that his prophecies have to be reinterpreted.
That's right. Wait, no. Nobody reinterprets my prophecies. I
No,
can
you do.
prophesy. Okay, I can get down with that. All right, let's... I don't see him coming back in. I don't know if he'll...
No, well, we might as well. I mean, we can figure this out later to get a hold of him, but
Yeah, I don't want to waste everybody's time just hanging on. Mr. Intelligent Design, though, we will get with you if you're listening and reschedule this and see if we can't make it happen.
Right, I'm back. Sorry.
Mr. Reddy?
Oh, hi, Rice.
Okay.
I think that was Rice.
All right.
Yeah, that was Rice coming back indeed.
Head prophet. That's actually funny. I like that. Okay.
This is an undead Johnny. Jonine. Jesus is a lich, and everyone knows that.
What is that?
There's a meme on the internet you can find. It goes through like all the different kinds of undead and things, and Jesus fits lich, which is some kind, I guess.
Cool.
It's a special
I know a lich
kind.
AD&D.
Okay, so Mr. ID, get with us. Email me. We'll set it up again for maybe. We're getting kind of full up until we're pushing up against December now, so might do it on a weekend, something like that. Tomorrow we have. Tomorrow we have Mike Winger and Paula Gia in a debate on the evidence for the resurrection.
That's
So
so good.
That I want to see.
Yeah, that's going to be good. And then on Friday, we have the show that was supposed to be scheduled last Friday. I finally got a hold of Dr. Ward, and it was just a scheduling issue on their end. They wrote down the wrong date, but it worked out because we had Friday open anyway, so we will have the climate change debate that we were supposed to have, or not debate, but discussion that we were supposed to have last week on this Friday. And then tomorrow at 5 o'clock p.m., I will be on Fully Deconverted for an interview. And then we'll be back on Monday with Sargon and Adam Kokesh. Make sure you do, Steve, if you've ever wanted to try cocaine, make sure you do cocaine on Monday.
Well, hang on. I said I'd only try it if I get thrown off a hooker's ass or someone equivalent.
I don't care. You just have to do that before we go live. We can't.
God damn it!
We can't get a strike.
Can't do that on camera. Is
No.
that strikeable?
Leonardo DiCaprio, he can get away with it. You
smoke
can't.
pot. Wait, you can smoke pot on camera, Nick.
Yeah, but you don't smoke pot off. You don't see people smoking pot off of someone's ass. It's the ass part,
I
Steve.
will give it a shot.
Not the drug part.
I'll give it
The
a
ass
shot.
part.
Oh, the cheek.
Right. No nudity. So after Rose Patton last night, and after the mishap with Mr. ID tonight, and just my brain is conspiracied out for the week. I'm done.
Santa Claus.
No more. No more conspiracies.
Up for a while.
So, I have nothing. I have nothing brilliant to say to close us out. I will pick a random. I'm just gonna pick a random chat line here. Kyle can wear a dress for you. That's as good as any to go out on. Did you guys plug your channels yet? Have we done that? I don't want to be rude. Did we do that yet?
I don't think so, but
oh, go ahead.
So for anyone interested, I'm Chris at Biblical History Skeptics. We're a really tiny channel, just started out, so I will provide a link here in the chat. So there we go.
And Rice.
Yep, thank you guys for having me. My Discord, Evolution is a Lie, my YouTube channel was shut down, so there we go.
It's because they don't want people knowing the truth, man. You're on to something.
Yeah, they don't want to know about the pygmies at the North Pole.
Can I get an amen?
No, you cannot get an amen. Did you notice that, Steve?
Yeah.
Dumpster fire in the okay. So yeah, join us tomorrow at 8 o'clock.
One more super chat you want to throw in there? Jen Morgan, $2. I crashed. What the hell happened? I don't know whether I want to tell Jen to go back and watch this or not. Do I have the heart? I don't know. I'm mixed on this. I want people watching at the time. I like and love the people in our live chat and people watch this. I feel bad. They're susceptible to this and they have to watch it. We're like showing them this stuff. I don't know what to do. I'm having an ethical quandary here. Help me.
Okay, this is how like brain dead now. Tomorrow is not Apologia and Mike Winger. Tomorrow is Abandoned Florida we're gonna go through the haunted funeral parlors. It's tomorrow.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. The evidence for the resurrection is on Thursday.
Right, and immediately following NonSequitur tomorrow, Jimmy and I special Halloween episode of Ad Homies, and you'll get to see what everyone voted for my costume to be. So you're not going to want to miss that. And I'll give you a hint. It is between a MSNBC anchor and G-Man. So who doesn't want to see which way that goes?
What can go wrong there?
I will not be doing blackface, so don't even get that through your head.
Yeah,
get that out of your head now.
Don't do that. Somebody made that bad mistake just recently.
Get that
not
out of your
a
head.
wise decision.
Okay, we're ending on blackface. That's always good. Good night, guys.
Good night. I need a beer.
Night.
I'm going to go get a beer.